Whit Crane here. Cassie?
Yeah, hey Whit, how you going? It's Cassie from Silver Tiger Media.
Hi, I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing awesome, thank you. How's things over there?
I just got back to California after 5 months wandering around the earth, and I'm visiting my family and some friends, getting some exercise and some sun.
Oh,
California's beautiful.
sounds good. Now, let's get straight to it. Orchestra of Doom. It sounds very menacing. For those who haven't heard about it, what can we what can we expect?
A 35-piece orchestra, all analog, no Marshall stacks, transposed by Andrea Battistoni in like 16th century Baroque music, and it's a cross-pollination that is something to behold, for sure. It's got Black Sabbath, it's got Ozzy Osbourne solo songs off of Diary of Madman, Wizard of Oz, like Revelations, Mother Earth, Mr. Crowley, Diary of a Madman. It's got a couple of good songs in there, some of my solo stuff there. And we've treated it like a true, like an opera or classical music experience. So you'll go, it'll have all the characteristics and idiosyncratic rules of an opera, like there'll be an intermission. But sonically, it's just something. It's something I've never heard. So it's fucking cool.
Well, look, we can't wait to see it. And look, 35-piece orchestra. It's nothing to be sneezed at. It's a really big compilation of music you got there.
That's true. I found myself in Verona, Italy. I made friends with all the orchestral players, and we hatched this scheme, and we manifested Orchestra Doom in Verona, Italy. We sold out a show at a place called the Ristori Theater, the third oldest opera house, which has such history. And, 35-piece, I never could have imagined I would be singing with an orchestra in the first place. But once again, what I highlighted before, the fact that there's no electricity involved in the classic sense of a Marshall stack or what have you. The sonic dimension is profound. And, of course, I picked Black Sabbath because I love Black Sabbath. But, who knew? I didn't know till I knew that Black Sabbath is perfect for this end. I mean, they are orchestral, and it's dark, and it's beautiful. And, Iommi's riffs are just crazy. So, yeah, it's a special thing. It's a different kind of animal. And it liberates everyone involved. For me, it's outside my box, which makes me feel alive as an artist. And then for the orchestra players, they're like, wow, we can play Sabbath and Ozzy, rad. So it's fun, to say the least. And for me, it's really inspiring, to be part of it.
Yeah, and look, it's also something that will appeal to fans of orchestral music. It isn't just for the headbangers, and I think they will really enjoy seeing these musicians take themselves to a different level.
100%. I know this because when we played in Italy with this thing, it had the cross section of everybody. It had just who you just described. It had orchestral fans. It had rock and roll fans. It had people that were curious, and it moved everybody, including me. So yeah, this is once again this. If you think about orchestral music, which I have, it's good for all of us to branch out musically and creatively and artistically and cross pollinate. And it's a great time to do it. There's a lot of proof of that with other projects that are similar. So, yeah, it's special, and it's magical, and it's inspiring, certainly.
Awesome. Now, your good friend Pat Cash is co-producing the show with you. Now, I saw you on television during Wimbledon, and I thought you were just into tennis, but clearly Pat's got a little bit more involvement than I thought.
Well, I love tennis, and I love sport in general. And I've always, I grew up in California. I've always watched Australia Open, French Open, and Wimbledon on television or on a computer if I could find one. It's always been strange time signatures, but I'm pretty loyal to it. And so, in the last couple of years, I found myself in Australia, Melbourne in particular. And so, I knew somebody who knew Pat Cash, and I was like, I want to go see tennis. And they're, well, why don't you reach out to Pat Cash? And I'm like, well, how would I do that? And my friend had his email. So I emailed him, and I said, what's up, dude? I'd like to do that. Please do. And then so I met him in Melbourne at the Australia Open. Super cool dude. And then he had come to a show in '92 that we did, I think, at the Brixton Academy, but I didn't necessarily remember that because those are the toxic years, to say the least. And anyway, but then we become great friends. predicated on the love of music, and the discipline of music that we really do love is like Judas Priest and Black Sabbath, and he loves Rose Tattoo, and he's just a really passionate guy on a myriad of levels. And I went. He was like, "Hey, do you ever come to the French Open? I'll hook you up." And of course, I was immediately at the French Open 2 years ago, whatever, a year and a half ago, and so we went out to dinner in Saint-Germain, Paris, and we're hanging out talking heavy metal stories, and I showed him like a little clip of the Orchestra music I had in my pocket on my iPhone. And he freaked out, and he blew his mind, and he's like, "You should bring this to Australia." I'm like, "How would I do that?" And of course, he knew how to do it. So, yes, we're working together, and it's really fun, and, I see that guy all over the world. It's a good relationship. It's a creative relationship, and once again, it's predicated on the love of music, which to me is always it's like, you remember when you were kids, you go into high school and you had your clique of people and you listen to music together, and all those guys are still my friends at this age that I'm at now, but me and Cash are dissimilar from that. Like, we didn't ever lose the childlike passion of music and sport and what have you.
Yeah. Now, you're really out of your comfort zone with no guitars and amps, as you've said. How is the onstage experience playing with this enormous orchestra behind you and just your microphone in your hand?
Well, it's scary, a bit terrifying, and also liberating. I feel like I'm out of my depth in the sense of an artist, which to me, artistically speaking, I saw a piece with David Bowie talking years ago, and he said, and when I heard it, I was like, oh. So there's a piece somewhere on YouTube where David Bowie's talking about, as an artist, you should always be out of your depth. Meaning, like, if you went swimming out in the ocean or the sea when you can't touch the earth anymore, you're out of your depth. So artistically speaking, it's a bit like that, and that makes me feel alive. Like I've through repetition, I've played lots of different rock shows in the classic sense. Big stadium shows or club shows or whatever, different bands. But this is so beyond that and out of that scheme that so it makes me feel alive as an artist, I guess you'd say. And it's and I'm not battling Marshall Stacks or anything like that, or like like a big bass cap. Like, it's beautiful. So just to sit there and like zen out or give into the music and then sing with it, it's special. It's special for me. So something like that.
Now, you've got a solo tour happening in England in September, and then you're here for the Doom tour in December. You're not giving yourself much downtime at the moment.
Oh, and I'm going to make a record after the solo tour, which ends late September. I'll have October off, which I'll try to get something going on. And then in November, I would think Ugly Kid Joe's going to go in the studio and then knock out a full-length record, and then we'll have that in our back pocket. And in the next year, we'll use that as the horse to ride into our musical futures. Yeah, I know. I got to tell you, like, I really love working. It gives me a great solace. I feel good to work. I mean, I'm really good at sleeping. I'm really good at doing nothing. But if I'm able to get to the sea or the ocean or the mountains or whatever and just kind of be, I like that a lot. But if that's coupled with, all the projects I'm doing, I feel more grounded. My sister is a scientist. My sister's a molecular biologist, and she sent me something the other day that I found it. And she sent me this scientific article. And in the article, it weighed the scales of, let's say you're going to buy a new car tomorrow, or you're going to go, or you're going to, get some material thing. In the study, that made a certain form of excitement, for lack of better terminology, of the human being, right? And that excitement isn't wrong or right, but it's a particular way that a material and would affect the human being. And then the other side of it, why she sent me the article, was that if you have something you're looking forward to, like a trip or a tour or Orchestra Doom or something you're going to go do, so it's like an experience, that I guess it would be endorphins or whatever you call it, the excitement of said human, it lasts longer and is more fruitful for the human experience. So what I've done, naturally, my sister just sent me that piece because it reminded her of me, is I've made it so that I have some things to look forward to in 2019 and 2020. So it really does give me peace of mind.
Oh, look, it's very enlightening to hear you talk like that. I'm just going to take you back to December 2017 when we last saw Ugly Kid Joe here for the 25th anniversary tour of America's Least Wanted. Now, I was front row at that concert, and I watched you side of stage when Dallas Frasca were playing, and you were just so into it. You really love those guys.
I do love Dallas Frasca, and I love Dallas. You know what she is vocally. She's a powerhouse. She's a very special woman. She has one of the greatest partners, Scott Major. He's great too. And then, of course, she's worked with Jeff Curran, the guitar player, lefty.
Yeah, that's it. And look,
many years.
It was it was just so cool to see that you were just so involved with our local artists, and that then Dallas came out and sang with you during your set, and I think Tim McMillan did as well, and it was just awesome to see. It was really great.
Thank you. Well, I'm a big believer in community, and then if you rewind time in your mind's eye, when we blew up, when other kids blew up like in 91, 92, through the end, all the old school masters loved us. Ozzy loved us, Lemmy loved us, the Def Leppard guys were cool, and Van Halen, and all our heroes liked us and loved us and took us out on tour. But we didn't have a peer group. I mean, in a very real sense, Ugly Kid Joe's enigmatic in that sense. And so I've always been like, oh, where's my community? My peer group community. So at this stage in my journey, in my musical travails, in my career, whatever you want to call it, I'm like, fuck it, I'll make my own community. So when you see me on the side of the stage, loving Dallas's whole thing, I do love it. And so, I've been able to be part of the manifestation of making a community I never had in the first place. So that's what I'm just walking around the world, meeting people and getting creative. And within that action, I finally have my musical community, and it feels real good.
Oh, look, and we love it. It feels like Australia is a second home to you, and when you tour, you stay on for a bit extra. It's not like a wham-bam situation. You have a bit of a fondness for us over here.
Yeah, I did. In the last, let's say, 3 years, I've lived in Australia, Melbourne in particular, for like 10 months. But that's what I do in general now. Like, I don't live anywhere. I have a backpack, I have a credit card, I have an accountant, no felony records, and what I do, and I manage all my own bands. So what I do, which I didn't do when I was a kid, understandably, when we were kids, we'd tour around the world, and we'd come back and talk to our friends, and they'd say, oh my God, you went everywhere. But we didn't really go everywhere. We went and got our passport stamped at the time, and we went to the club, and we drank beers and got into trouble. That was it. We didn't go see anything, and that's okay. That's what we did at that age. That's fine. You should do that. But now I'm like, okay, I want to go see stuff. So yeah, of course, I'll start and end tours somewhere in my mind that's fantastic, something that interests me. And I'll sit with my booking agent and the guy that I co-manage the band with. Look, dude, I'm not fucking around. We're going to make money. Big deal. That's great. That's going to come and go, but let's garner some experiences. So, for instance, in the last 3 months, I think a judge's tour all over Europe. In the last 3 months, I lived in New York or Spain for 40 days. I lived in Prague for 3 weeks, So, I'm always making an effort to experience life through music. And then, a troubadour or a minstrel or whatever you want to call whatever I am. There's lots of different titles. It's a great currency. I mean, you could get sex and drugs and rock and roll out of it, which is fine, and that's been done and will be done again. There's nothing wrong with that. But you could also figure out, where's the coolest hike to go on, or where's the best restaurant, or you can meet really cool people through music. It's like a key to a gregarious door. So, yeah, I lived in Australia, and of course I made it so I can live there. And I love Australia, just as you said, it is a second home. But, there's a big world outside, and I'm always looking to get inside of it.
Oh, I envy you so much. Your passport must be stamped to the max. I can only imagine.
Yes, I just had to redo it.
Now, in 1993, we saw you playing at Melbourne's Festival Hall with Chocolate Starfish, another one of our bands. And 26 years later, you're still going strong. Chocolate Starfish have had this huge resurgence over the last few years. I think the fans just love the comfort of the music that they know and love, and they just keep turning up time after time.
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird. I think everything must be secular. I mean, even the weather, like seasons. Yeah. So I don't know the definitive answer to that, when we got back, we realized Ugly Kid Joe actually did not make music or jam or do anything for, I think, over 15 years, nearly 16 years. So when we did get back together and went out in 2012, we really didn't know if people would dig it, would they even remember us? And that's not a for sure thing. So when we came back and we did a festival run in Europe, it was something that was on fire. And And it's healing in a lot of senses for us, too. It's cathartic because everybody's alive and all the bullshit that we may or may not have gone through being in a band, which is not dissimilar from any band. It's been really fun for us to go play and play these. It's like a good pair of shoes that we remember. And everyone's gone in, and everyone in the band's lived their other life. You know, people have become fathers or producers or what have you in other bands. So it's been pretty neat just for us as people to get back together and do the, you know, be involved in the currency that made us in the first place, which is the music itself, but let alone get to go on tour and play obscure cities around the world and have people pack out clubs or play a festival and just slay it. We just played a festival in France in the French Alps, and it was with the Scorpions with Mickey D playing drums, and God, the Scorpions are great. And there we were in the Alps. I'm like, this is so badass. And how, you know, I would never get to where we were. We wouldn't swam in a lake before the show. I was in a lake in the Alps, spacing out, looking at the, you know, the awe-striking silhouette of the various sides of, you know, the Alps, the French freaking Alps, which is attached to the Swiss Alps. So, you know, it's amazing. Music is amazing. It's hard to put it into words. I think all the humans that are battling each other or angry with each other, everybody likes music and everybody likes food. So, you know,
no truer words have ever been said, that's for sure. Now, I was going to ask you about your recipe for your fountain of youth, because apart from your short hair, you haven't really aged a day in the last 25 years, but clearly it's this life you're living.
I think maybe transitorial behaviors suit me, so therefore I'm happier, right? Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. You just look so youthful.
Well, I'm not, you know, I'm always I sleep a lot. If you give me a chance to sleep, I mean, I'll sleep. I'll sleep and sleep and sleep some more. I also get some exercise when I can, and then when I'm going to rage and go and drink some beers, I'll do that too. So, you know, that's nice of you to say. And once again, when I'm being creative, sleeping, exercising, partying, all in one big thing, it makes you happy. And I think at the end of the day, let's be honest, when I look at people's faces, you know, including my own in the mirror, I want to have smile wrinkles at the end of life. You know, let's say I make it to an old man, right? Which I'm getting close to. But like, when I smile, you'll see I've been smiling for years. And that's okay. That's the way I'm doing it. But there's other human faces, you know, that have been frowning for years, which isn't wrong either. But you can see that how they've lived this life. So, I guess back to your thing, I think that, you know, I'm grateful for the things that I have in my life, and I'm so excited to be creative, and the fact that I get to do anything in a younger version of myself is amazing and unheard of. And then to get to have a reprise or even go outside the box and do something like Orchestra do, it's, you know, I get what it is. It's a big fat gift, and it's exciting and it's fun.
Well,
there
look,
you go.
I just wish a lot more people would take on this sort of philosophy in life, and I think we'd be a lot happier race of people, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think traveling, if whoever reads this or listens to this, I think traveling is really good for that. You know, you don't even have to leave your country. You could go to the beach and stay up and come out. Traveling, to me, you realize how small your problems are. You really do. But it's understandable equally if you're just in your small city, in your little town with your same bar over and over again. Stuff gets played out, you know? Like, I'm back in my hometown right now, and, you know, nothing's really changed. I love everybody here. I love my family and my friends, but everyone's still in the same cycle, which isn't bad or good, but it is limiting as far as experience goes. And when I say experience, I mean travel. Go travel. Go outside your box. See what people are. You'll notice idiosyncrasies that aren't dissimilar from yours. You will be part of it because you'll be traveling through it. Thus, you don't have to get hung up in it. And that's pretty much what I do.
Oh, look, thank you once again for chatting to me today. We can't wait to see you back here in December as Orchestra of Doom rolls out across Australia. It's going to be one show not to be missed, that's for sure.
And don't forget it's Ozzy's birthday on December 3rd.
Oh, and that's when you're playing in Melbourne, so it couldn't be a better date, could it?
No, it's the greatest. We love that, man.
Oh, look, thank you so much, Whit. It's been great to talk to you today.
All right, lots of love to you. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Thank you.